Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is the channel where I speak about everything to do with Canada, Canadian politics, Canadian culture, and everything that interests me about Canada. I want to document it and make a video about it, and this is one thing that is the most interesting thing that has happened to Canada in a while. If we ignore the obvious thing being the tariffs that Trump has consistently been talking about and putting for half a day or a day and then delaying it for a month, and then we forget about it for a whole month and then it happens again. That is just amazing, isn't it? Anyways, apart from that, Canada is getting a new Prime Minister after 10 years of Justin Trudeau. Mark Carney is the new Prime Minister designate. As of recording this video, he isn't officially the Prime Minister yet. He hasn't been sworn into office yet, but he is the official leader of the Liberal Party and he will be the next Prime Minister. In fact, it has been updated in the Wikipedia page of Mark Carney as well. So he is the Prime Minister designate of Canada. This I find really interesting because I was looking at the lead up to the Liberal Party elections, and a lot of the pollsters, I'll put it up as well, a lot of the pollsters had a neck and neck between Mark Carney and Chrystia Freeland. And in fact, Freeland was the one who ended up starting this leadership election race to begin with when she resigned from the Liberal government. And it's just amazing to see how she is the catalyst for all of this change that has happened, and she only ended up with 8% of the vote. So I kind of find it somewhat funny that all of this discourse about her leaving the Trudeau government was at the end of it for, I won't say for nothing because it has revived the Liberal Party, but it was definitely not for her personal gain, unless Mark Carney puts her in the government as well in some finance role or whatever. But right now it's pretty sad for her. I actually liked Frank Baylis and Karina Gold in their respective debates. I think they definitely were much better than Carney and Freeland combined in the debates, but it feels like the majority of Liberal Party supporters were hell-bent on Mark Carney winning the race, and the debates at the end of the day don't really matter that much, especially if it's a party leadership race. And that was clear with Mark Carney winning 85.9% of the vote, which is somewhat unprecedented. If you see Trudeau, who was really popular at that time, only won 78% of the vote. So seeing Mark Carney win 86.4% of the vote is pretty impressive if you think about it. And I feel like a big part of it is that he has branded himself as the non-Trudeau candidate, an alternative to Pierre Poilievre, who hasn't been linked to the Trudeau government. Now, it's debatable how true that is. The Conservatives and Pierre Poilievre make it a point to talk about the fact that Mark Carney was Trudeau's economic advisor.
The Liberal establishment has installed Justin Trudeau's economic advisor as the next Liberal leader to trick Canadians into giving Liberals a fourth term in power. But he's just like Justin.
I don't know how true that is, but that is what they have been talking about. But yeah, speaking about Mark Carney, he hasn't been elected into public office ever. If I go to his Wikipedia page for a second, he was born in the Northwest Territories, which is unique in its own way. He has a degree from Harvard and from Oxford, so he is, I would say, educated enough, at least more than Pierre Poilievre, and I guess even more than Trudeau, if you look at the credentials themselves. Mark Carney was obviously the governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, and he took that position on during a really tough time for both countries. For Canada, he steered them out of the 2008 financial crisis pretty well, and he has been given credit for that. And as for the job as the governor of Bank of England, he steered them through the Brexit times, and he was famously against Brexit as well. And that, I feel like, is a good sign in itself. I looked at the speech that Mark Carney gave as well when he won the leadership election. He spoke about how he's going to be tough on Trump with the tariffs. He's not going to let Canada back down.
And my government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect.
And also that he is going to get rid of the consumer carbon tax, and he is going to stop the hike in capital gains taxes as well.
So my government will immediately eliminate the divisive consumer carbon tax on families and farmers and small and medium-sized businesses. And we will stop the hike in the capital gains tax.
Things that the Conservatives have been talking about for a long time, and that kind of signals to me a slight rightward shift of the Liberal Party, who are center or center-left traditionally, but them cutting taxes and being not pro-government is something that isn't synonymous as much with the Liberals or any left-leaning political party. But I'm curious to see how that goes. Obviously, Mark Carney is trying to steer the upcoming election away from the topics that Pierre Poilievre has been talking about for a long time, including the carbon tax, famously calling Mark Carney Carbon Tax Carney. And he's trying to set the agenda of the upcoming election being just about Trump and the tariffs, and making the carbon tax sort of like yesterday's news. And I'm curious to see how that goes, how the Conservatives can pivot now from the carbon tax to other things that they can attack Carney on, policy related. And I'm curious to see how this goes from here onwards, especially with the Trump tariffs looming right now. Obviously, Mark Carney isn't elected as the Prime Minister. He doesn't hold a seat in the House of Commons. So he is more likely to call an election as soon as possible so that he can win a seat and actually be in Parliament. He is rumored to be running either in Northwest Territories, where he's from, or even a riding in Edmonton, or even Toronto Centre, which is available right now for him to run in. So that is something that I am going to look out for as things go on. But yeah, that is the end of the video and the end of the update that I have right now. Mark Carney is officially the next Prime Minister of Canada after 10 years of Justin Trudeau leading. After 10 years of Justin Trudeau leading 3 consecutive terms in government, it's now Mark Carney who is taking the reins. And again, if you like this video, if you like this update, please like the video and subscribe to this channel. I am hoping to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I will be pumping out videos weekly as much as I can, and I will make sure to update you all on how this Canadian election unfolds, because this is a very interesting time again in Canada, and I'm curious to see how it goes from here. So yeah, I'll see you next week with hopefully another video,